I used to do bits on my college experience. Now here I am with just regular, hardworking, blue collar Americans who don't know a thing of what I'm talking about. And I had no ability to switch on the fly to try and hit my audience where they live as opposed to where I live. And it sucked. It was terrible. I got paid like in a hamburger.
After all these years, do you ever get nervous interviewing people? I mean, is that something that ever pops up for you? Does it depend on the guest?
I'm lucky. I did stand-up comedy in college and nothing after that. Nothing.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I did stand-up comedy in college at Michigan for 3 years. Doing stand-up comedy in a comedy club makes everything easier. Nothing. Like the last time I was like really nervous was, launching this show was nerve-wracking, but because I'm not like a take artist, and you have to be inevitably you have to have a take on stuff in order to do this show. And that's not why I got into this business to have takes. I literally got into this type of show to have interviews and talk to people and get to meet them and have conversations. But the opinionating of it doesn't come to me easily in the same way that, people who I go up against every single day seems like that they hear something that happens in sports and can basically come up with a menu, an a la carte menu of different takes to have. Do I want the asshole take? Do I want the nuanced take? Do I want the take that's going to get me the clicks? Do I want which one suits me today? And I don't have that. I've got whatever comes out of my heart and my mind. But so starting this show, the first day was kind of nerve wracking. And then the first few months where I had to learn the radio business and from scratch, it was quite a lot. But the last time I was really like nervous was on the set of SportsCenter at the 2000, I guess, 2 World Series, where it was Angels versus Giants. And we're in the old Pac Bell Park out there in left center field on the SportsCenter set. And the game had just ended, and they handed me a video highlight, cold. I hadn't seen it, I'd seen the game, but I hadn't seen the actual highlight, which is the toughest way to do those back in the day, sure. But at any rate, they told me that if I screwed it up, we would not be able to re-record it until the next live showing of SportsCenter an hour later, which meant if I screwed it up, the entire crew that was thinking they could go home in 3 minutes would have to then wait an hour and 3 minutes for me to try it again.
Right.
And that kind of set me off, like a bunch of people basically like, is he going to do it or not? And that got me really nervous.
Well, it's like the people you work with actually weigh on you more than the people you don't know. And that's oftentimes, believe it or not, in here, what I struggle with is like, if we're doing something, even if it's going well at 6 p.m., I'm like, fuck, everybody wants to go home. It's just that
bath time is upon some of us, and we're very good dads.
Yeah, we are good dads, improving constantly. There's the best dad ever on the other side of the Zoom. I want to stay on the comedy stuff. Can we stay there for a second? Did you ever bomb a show?
Oh God, yeah.
What was the worst you ever bombed a show? Do you remember some terrible? Oh my God,
yeah. I got to be honest. When I bombed a show, so I did it at the Student Union when I was in college. And so on the campus at Michigan, and this was, late 80s when comedy clubs were red hot. I mean, red hot. People were waiting out the door, down the street to get in. So, my fraternity brothers would be there. My fellow Michigan Daily reporters would be there. So I packed the house on my side of things. And then it was just raucous. People were like half in the bag arriving. So the crowd was lit always. So that was easy for that respect. But then I decided, maybe I want to try this for a living. And I went on the road one weekend for 2 shows at some laugh house or factory, whatever the hell it was called, in Livonia, Michigan, which is about a 45-minute drive out of campus. So I was on the road. I brought my comedy, my college-based comedy. I used to do bits on my college experience. Now here I am with just regular, hardworking, blue collar Americans who don't know a thing of what I'm talking about. And I had no ability to switch on the fly to try and hit my audience where they live as opposed to where I live. And it sucked. It was terrible. I got paid like in a hamburger. And the couple of jokes that I did that did hit afterwards, all the comedians are together and they were like hardcore professionals. And they were asking me, you know, if I'm just a college kid, am I going to use that profession? Like, am I going to use that joke? They wanted it.
Oh, they want to take your jokes. That's kind of a compliment.
And it was, but also I didn't know how to answer it. And I'm like, I am not freaking cut out for this. I am not cut out for this comedy thing. But it was the toughest thing I ever had to do. I sucked it that night. It was terrible. So I just basically just did it in my student union for the rest of my days at Michigan, and I loved it.
We talked to your friend Jeff Garland on this show, and I didn't know you guys were so tight, and now it's like making a little bit more sense. And
Garland's great, man. My staple I did all the time was I read the Penthouse Forum letters in Howard Cosell's voice.
It's right up his alley.
That was it.
Just pack a stadium with Makins.
Yeah, that would have been, you'd have loved it then.
Who was your comp, though, in comedy, coming out of, the draft in Rich Eisen and the comedy draft?
My comp? I don't know, man.
You didn't have like a Mitch Hedberg delivery. It was like, your delivery is like.
No, and I wasn't like Stephen Wright. Okay. It's kind of what you see every day. Like, I'm just being myself.
You.
That's it.
That's the only way to do it.
Rich, can you imagine having to try to solve a murder before DNA came along? It's like, hey, Chief, there's a pool of the murderer's blood over here.
Yeah.
Oh, gross. Now let me get back to my hunch.
What? Is that a joke?
That's a joke lifted from John Mulaney.
Oh, okay. It's from John Mulaney. Okay, so that's good. Go. I'm really thankful that's not you.
But you liked it. You clapped.
Listen to the full podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast streaming platforms. Wherever you want to get the podcast, you can get the podcast. Pretty simple. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Podcasts get pretty wild. This is real tame.